Hello, I'm Beck. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be recreating a tarot card using the traditional symbolism, but applying my own style. And today we'll be doing the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is often associated with warning of bad things coming, but I've always found that it more relates to an awareness that you need to have that you might be feeling more sensitive in the days to come. It can represent emotional pain, heartbreak, bottled up feelings, and unresolved past. The symbolism in it is pretty straightforward. It's three swords penetrating a heart with a dark, stormy background behind. The swords represent the pain inflicted by your past, maybe somebody's words or actions, or just bad intentions being sent your way, and they're affecting your emotional and maybe physical self. These are wounds that last. You've held on to them. They could even be from childhood, and they're stopping your heart from floating above the clouds to where the sun is shining and things are good. Basically, the advice from this card is to be aware that you're potentially experiencing some pain that you can draw the sword out yourself. Some pain where you're holding on to old wounds and you haven't let yourself feel them. Usually this card is giving you permission to cry, to feel the feelings, and really just lean into the emotions that a lot of us like to avoid as much as possible, but it's necessary and it's part of the human experience to feel. There is a quote, and I'm not sure whose quote it is. Let me know in the comments if you're aware of it. That says, crying isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually, from the moment of birth, a sign that you are alive. And I think that's really beautiful. Obviously, nobody likes feeling miserable and sad and all the bad feelings when someone's mean to you or something happens and it triggers fear or pain. But to allow yourself to feel the feelings is the first step in getting over those feelings and working through the pain until you find a way to not be affected by it anymore, to remove the sword and let your heart float. So that's what this card is about, and it's understandable a lot of people don't like to see it in a reading, but it's probably more helpful than a lot of the cards that have a more bright and sunny meaning. If you get something like the Fool, which is about adventure and fun times, it can be nice to say like, yeah, you're about to go on an adventure, but that's something that a person can choose to do at any time. Whereas this card is kind of calling you out to say you're not gonna be happy until you deal with your shit. Pardon my language. Yeah, it's very simple symbolism, but powerful as well. If you draw this card as a reversed card, so if it comes out upside down, you might want to pay attention to the way that you're talking to yourself. So instead of when people often think that if the card is drawn reversed that it just means the opposite of when it's drawn upright, reversed is still talking about feeling pain inflicted in your heart, but instead of it coming from external sources, something that you've held on to, The pain could be coming completely from within yourself if it's reversed. The way you talk to yourself is very powerful, and a lot of people choose to have mantras and things that seem stupid at first, saying things like, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I can do anything. Saying that to yourself in the mirror does you feel like a bit of an idiot, but after a certain amount of time, your brain will start to believe it. It's something called neuroplasticity, where you can rewire the pathways in your brain based on repetitive thought processes. So if you're telling yourself, I'm worthless, I can't do anything, I suck at this, I'm ugly, no one will ever want to date me, so on and so forth, you will believe it. You're teaching your brain how to see yourself, and eventually you'll come to think of that as fact. And no matter how much you want your life to improve, or how much you want to change, you might see other people's lives and be like, how can they have such a great life? How do I get that as well? The first step is to believe that you can, believe you deserve it. Believe that you are capable of working towards the same goals and same achievements that anyone else has worked towards and successfully achieved. That's not to say different people don't have certain privileges that have helped them, but obviously there's a level of confidence that you need to have in order to be happy, and this card is asking you to look at how you treat yourself and say, if this is how I treat myself, how do I expect other people to treat me? Or even if you look at the way you treat yourself and compare that to how you treat someone who you love and respect, like your best friend or your mum, or just someone in your family, someone that you love, even a pet. The way that you treat other people is often so much better than the way you treat yourself. It can be very awakening to realize that you are the only person who's going to be with you 100% of your life for your whole life. So you might as well be friends with yourself and be on your own team. In terms of call to action, this card is asking you to really look at your life and look at yourself and say, ask yourself, in what ways am I suffering? What do you feel sorrowful about, or what do you struggle with? What topics do you generally avoid? What do you try not to think about? And really just look into yourself and try to work through some of that to figure out what is it about those things that bothers you so much, and why do you hide from it? Would it be more beneficial to your life if you inspected it and took it out and really let yourself feel the emotions that it makes you feel, and go deeper to figure out why and where it's coming from, and whether or not you can overcome it and become a better person as a result. Take the swords out of your heart and allow the healing to begin. Because that's another part of this card. It's that while it is a card of despair, it also is a card of hope, to say that there is light above the clouds, there is an end to the sorrow. You have to let yourself feel it and go through it, but there is light on the other side, and the pain doesn't last forever. There is healing in the future. And that's one of the things that this card promises. Identify what is causing you pain, remove it from your psyche, and you will be better for it. I think that while everyone has... Hello, Panda. While everyone has sort of past traumas that they need to work through, so this card can be applied to anyone, one of the things I've found with tarot is it's more a matter of timing, that this card will usually appear when it's the right time for you to assess things like that, when you're ready to be emotionally vulnerable, or you're already feeling emotionally vulnerable, so you might as well dig into why. One of the things that got me into tarot in the first place was I got a deck and really just for fun would draw one every day and see if it applied to my day, and a lot of the time it did in a very specific, eerie way. It wasn't that like all the cards can be applied to any situation. It would be a matter of the card preparing me for something that I didn't know was in store for me. Usually it would be a case of I would forget the card. I'd do it the night before, and then I wouldn't look at it in the morning. I'd go off and have my life, and the next night when I go to pick a new card, I would see the card from the day before and I would think about my day and realize it was very accurate, eerily so, and sometimes it would give advice that would resonate. For example, if I drew this card, I would be aware that I would be feeling a little bit more vulnerable, so say internet trolls would hurt my feelings more, or I would just be feeling a bit self-conscious and maybe giving myself some negative self-talk that I needed to be aware of, and not necessarily something bad happening that day, but definitely feeling more emotionally vulnerable, basically. And interestingly, sometimes it could accurately predict when it was that special time of month for me when I am feeling very vulnerable and insecure, and it would just let me know, hey, guess what? You are going to be feeling a bit sensitive, so just bear that in mind and try not to react inappropriately. And if you need to cry, cry. Embrace your feelings. That's why you're alive. If anyone watching this uses tarot and has drawn the Three of Swords before, how did you find it? Do you have the same experience that I have, where it could predict that you need to work through some stuff, or that you're going to be a bit more sensitive? Or did you find that it had a different meaning for you, one that I haven't really talked about? I'm always happy to learn new meanings for the cards and different ways of interpreting the symbolism. Definitely, to me, seems like the swords represent problems, unresolved issues causing pain, and taking them out of your heart will be a little bit painful, but it will be a necessary pain to allow the healing to begin. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it informative or interesting, or both. And this is the final result. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and like and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Have a good day.